First Merchants Bank. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper.
Put it in the upper right-hand corner just like a postage stamp. That's a good bingo.
Get ready to learn more about the Columbus Blue Jackets players and coaches, as well as find out what's going on this week in the NHL. Now let's join Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley for the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. It's been a couple of weeks for us because of games of one kind or another that we haven't been here with you, but we're back and ready to bring it to you once again here tonight. The Blue Jackets got back home after a week-long road trip, and Jody, let's start with the trip itself. 5-game trip, started in Chicago, started with a win, went on to Calgary, tough game there. Johnny Gaudreau, Celebration of Life night for the Calgary Flames, a chance for their team and their fans to say goodbye to Johnny, and that was a tough one, and the Flames played well, and they shut down the Blue Jackets, shut them out 3-0. Went to Edmonton, got into a game with the Oilers like you can easily get into, especially there, lost 6-3. Played in Vancouver, dominated the first 20 minutes, lost the game in the probably late second, then into the third period. So you lose 3, but you finish off with a great win against Winnipeg on Sunday. And then you're hoping to come home last night and build on that. And it didn't happen against the Flyers. But, again, starting with the road trip, not often do you come off a trip that's got a losing record, which this one does, 2-3-2. But you look at it and say, you know what, that wasn't all bad because there were good points in there for the Blue Jackets.
You know what, the regular season and throughout the whole season from training camp throughout, especially with new players and a new coach, it's all about the understanding of what your team has to do to win as a group, collectively and individually. And I think through these first 28 games, this team has learned a lot about itself. You know, when you look at the road trip, you go into Chicago and you probably look at them in the standings if you're a fan, and you think, hey, you should just win that game. You know, they're not very good, and you feel like the Blue Jackets had some excitement leaving home with such a great homestand and scoring all the goals and their home record. But that was a battle. They had to battle to win that game, and they had to get on their game. And sometimes those are harder games to get into because there is a lot of, you know, open holes and sloppiness. But they got their game, they got the win, and then when you get on the road and you get into Calgary, and you're right, that was an emotional game. You know, it brought back a lot for the Blue Jackets players and the organization to see the Gaudreaus there and the families and all that. So, you know, you don't really understand what the players are going through at the time. But you get out of there and you go to Edmonton, you just take too many penalties against the Edmonton Oilers. So that was the problem with that game, and it was at the wrong times. So, okay, you can live with that. I look at the way they played in Winnipeg. Everyone plays Winnipeg as a measuring stick. And that was an important win. To me, that's, you know, you're going to look at some of the games in the schedule and just kind of think, okay, you know, this was an important segment. You learned a lot about yourself. But I think the standard and the baseline for how they have to play to win games, they understand how hard they have to work. And that important win and coming home last night, listen, coming off a Western road trip and feeling flat is a real thing. You almost decompress because you're in a camp when you travel together. You travel together. You're on the planes. You're on the buses. You're in the hotels. You're having meals. You know, you're in a camp. And when you get home, sometimes you decompress. And yesterday, the day before yesterday was a day to do that, and then to get back at it last night. Philadelphia, they were coming off a stretch of losing 3 in a row. They block shots. They can be frustrating. There was nothing easy in that game, and the Blue Jackets were a little slow and not quick. And you hear that after a lot of the losses for the Blue Jackets, and you can see it. We know this team well enough now to understand when they're on their game and when they're not. And last night in the schedule, that was a game you were hoping for some bounces and some things to go your way. So, but overall, when I look at this team, you feel like you know what they are, and I think that's the most important thing. There are teams below them and around them that still don't know what they are, like how they have to win. And I think the clear message throughout that locker room with those players from the coaching staff is they understand what they're a part of. And I think that's an important thing for the first quarter and third of the season.
Do you think the Flyers are one of those teams? They're right around the Blue Jackets in the standings.
Yeah.
Do you think that they know what they are as of yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they showed why they're in that mix. I mean, the Metropolitan Division is just gummed up. You know, after that, for those top three, it's gummed up. And the Flyers are a defensive-minded hockey team with enough skill and maturity now, and they have a couple stars that they can produce some offense from defense. And it's a John Tortorella team. And when they block shots, there was no passes through that offensive zone for the Blue Jackets. The defensive zone for the Philadelphia Flyers was really stiff. They got out of their zone very easily in the first period, and they kind of, to use a John Tortorella quote, they found a way to win, and they did it well. And the turning point in the game, or the big point of the game, was the Monahan power play goal, and then Konechny answers with the fourth goal. Because you feel like the building's coming back, you feel like the team is now settled in, you feel like there's a different kind of feeling through the game, which there's always ebbs and flows. But they know what they are. They're a hardworking, competitive, stingy team.
They remind me in some ways of the Blue Jackets team that John Tortorella came in here and took over, where there were, as you said, they have some skill guys, but not the jump off the page skill guys. Now, of course, the Blue Jackets got that guy when Artemi Panarin came in. They may have that guy in the making with Matvei Michkov. He's not at that point yet, but you could see it in that game. He shows up at different places, winds up with a couple of points in the game, just finds a way to get the job done. That's kind of what they remind me of right now. I think when you look at the Blue Jackets roster, it appears that there could be some more high-end skill there when you look at guys like Fantilli and Kent Johnson, but it's all about the end result. And so that's the way the Blue Jackets used to play, and pack it in, block shots, and that's what we saw out of the Flyers last night.
I thought they were heavier than the Blue Jackets, in a lot of ways. Sanheim, to see him live, to watch him at ice level, I was impressed with his game. He's an impressive player. He's
always been that big.
Yeah, he's big.
I was thinking that last night. I was looking at him, and I thought, this is a guy, I know he scored a couple of big goals against the Blue Jackets in games the two teams have played, but I saw him last night, and I thought, did this guy just get bigger over the summer, or has it just been that long since I've seen him? And
he's going to play for for the Four Nations. Yep. And he's legit. He's that guy that's grown into a really good defenseman at 28 years old. And, a couple plays with him. Drysdale, too. I mean, Drysdale, Torch talked about him in the morning yesterday as a little bit, wants him to be a little bit of a rover, but he's not there to let him go like he did with Werenski when he was here with him. So they have those pieces. Konechny, he's automatic when he's one-on-one with the goalie. He's a high-end player, and I think it's sneaky. They have some sneaky skill. And but the difference, I think, is their young guys have learned that it's team system first. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that I see the Blue Jackets when they're on. The team is clicking. It's four lines and it's going. And I think that they might do it a little more consistently with John Tortorella.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. And because what we talk about all the time, I mean, let's look at the games, those last two games of the road trip. They play their system first period against Vancouver. They dominate.
Yeah.
They outshoot them 17-2. They've got a 2-goal lead. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of goes away by late second period and then through the third. Winnipeg, for 60 minutes, played the game.
Yeah.
And did exactly what they should do. Stayed in that system and wind up with what really is an easy win, 4-1 win at the end of that. So, yes, I totally understand what you mean by that. And,
you mean Philly.
Oh no, I'm saying with the Blue Jackets, when they get away from it, when they play it right, they do it. Yes, yeah. Philly, I think they understand, and maybe they do it a little bit more consistently right now. Of course, John Tortorella's now been there for a couple of years and kind of gotten into the heads of those young guys, whereas Dean Evason's in the first go around here with some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean he's benched Michkov.
Yeah,
2 games healthy scratch. I mean, and the outside and the Flyers fans at the time are like, what's happening? Well, this kid's been on a tear since. And it's just what you have to do. And there's going to be moments where Dean Evason has to do the same thing with some of his players.
Yeah, and he really hasn't, in some ways, hasn't had that opportunity because of sometimes he's got limited bodies. He's got 12 guys.
Yeah, but there's still always teaching moments, and he's talking to Fantilli and trying to put him in situations, Marchenko now is 5 games without a goal, and that's going to weigh on him. You're probably going to see the line switch up again a little bit. Or maybe not. Maybe he steps away and says, he realizes, and I think he did last night, they didn't have it. They just weren't quick enough and fast enough, and that's what you're hearing after the losses. So maybe he gives it one more try against the Washington Capitals. They're going to be a handful. But the Blue Jackets right now, I like where they're at as far as knowing what they are.
Yeah, and as you said, maybe some tweaks here and there. It's funny, though, when you watch what's going on. Like, James Van Riem's, the last 3 games, has been on the top line with Sean Monahan and Kent Johnson. This is a guy that hasn't been able to stay in the lineup.
Yeah.
And now he gets a chance. He's making the most of that chance. Sean Corrali, his minutes have been cut drastically. Jack Johnson can't even get in the lineup right now. So, when you're talking about that, I don't know. Do you bring those older guys back into it a little bit to try to jumpstart if you need that?
I don't mind that. I'm a big fan of Jack Johnson. I think there's a player there that has that experience and knows what he is, and I think there's a good opportunity for him on the penalty kill. But I also like the competition. I think that guys, after losses, I think you do make those moves so that guys are on their toes. I think that's an important factor in a locker room.
Well, you mentioned Travis Sanheim going to play in the Four Nations tournament. Another guy that's going to play in that tournament is our own Zach Werenski. We found that out on the road trip last week, and let's talk about that when we return to the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. But first, I want to tell you that you can make this holiday season one to remember with a Pick 6 Flex Plan. Treat yourself or fellow hockey fans to any 6 regular home games and save up to 20%. The best part, you choose the games that you want. Pick your games today by going to bluejackets.com/pick6. We'll have more of the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Good morning, beat freaks. Who's ready to move? Let's start this day right.
Tasha's morning dance parties are meeting rave reviews.
Lose your phones and find your groove.
They need an ops manager to help their community dance the morning away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey golfers, it's Timmy Hall here, and I just found out how to keep my game sharp through the cold months so I can kick Austin's ass again next spring. It's the Fans Indoor Golf League at Fairway Columbus, presented by Woodford Reserve. 12-week league, 24 spots. It starts January 5th. The first 10 signups get it for $350, less than $30 a week, then $400 for the remaining signups. Plenty of Woodford Reserve specials, food from McGinnis Grill. Folks, these are the finest golf sims in the city. So sign up at 971thefan.com and don't put those sticks away.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
Scotty Vegas for Maxima Concrete. From a basic driveway replacement to a complex in-ground pool, patio, or outdoor kitchen installation, Maxima can do it all. Broom finish, stamped and coated, or exposed aggregate concrete, pavers, fire pits, seating walls, even lighting. Maxima is all in-house. Never any subs, so hire the guys that will actually perform the work. Mention this ad for $250 off your next project. Still plenty of time left this season, so get a free estimate today by visiting MaximaConcrete.com.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Hey, it's Anthony. Not too many things you'll experience on a daily basis are worse than sore feet. I've been there, but I'm not going back there. I'm done with the over-the-counter insoles that shred on me or don't last or don't really do anything to actually realign and strengthen my feet. That's why I went to the Good Feet store. They make it personal. They asked me about my daily activities and the type of pain that brought me in, and they properly measured my feet and arch size. Once I was fitted, they placed my arch supports right into my own shoes so I could immediately feel the difference they make with every step. I started enjoying that comfort right away. I walked out wearing my new arch supports, and now I'm living and loving being on the go without pain. You've got to check out the Good Feet store. Bring in your favorite shoes. They'll personally fit you to ensure your comfort like they did for me. Try them. Take a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Bread Financial is proud to be the official financial services partner of your Columbus Blue Jackets. They provide simple, personalized payment, lending, and savings solutions. From the Bread Cashback American Express credit card to high-yield savings and CDs to buy now, make that score now, pay later options, you'll find financial solutions for your budget and your goals, hockey or otherwise. Learn more at breadfinancial.com. And let's go Blue Jackets.
You hear that crunch? It's not just any crunch. It's cheesy to the edge crust that only comes from a Jets Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed dough topped with premium mozzarella, the freshest ingredients, and ladled with Mama Jet's secret sauce. Then baked to perfection in steel pans born on Motor City lines. I bet you're real hungry now. Go ahead. Visit jetspizza.com for daily hot deals. Jets. Better because it has to be.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A brisk finish on this Wednesday, but for the most part dry. Temperatures holding in the low 30s. Scattered snow showers later this evening and early tonight. Temperatures down to the teens by Thursday morning. Wind chills in the single digits. Partly sunny skies by Thursday afternoon, but highs only in the mid to upper 20s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott with Jody Shelley. Four Nations Tournament is coming up in February, a big NHL event. It's going to take place in Montreal, in Boston. You've got Team Canada, Team USA, Team Sweden, Team Finland, all going to go against each other in that tournament. Team USA, we had been wondering if Zach Werenski was going to be on the team. Bill Guerin is the general manager of the Minnesota Wild. He is also the general manager of Team USA. A couple of weeks ago, he was here at a game against the Carolina Hurricanes, along with his assistant GM, Chris Kelleher, who is helping him on Team USA. And I saw them. I talked to them both. I wanted to say, what are you doing here? Who are you looking at? What's going on? But I didn't do that. And, after the game, we found out that they did talk to Zach Werenski. It was kind of a chance meeting. Zach ran into them after the game, and lo and behold, they have liked what they've seen out of Zach Werenski. And, Jody, how can you not like what you've seen out of Zach this year?
Yeah, I love that story that they saw him at Martini's here in Columbus. It was a team meal, and Zach and his fiancée were at dinner, and Billy Guerin, who's just a great people person, pulled them aside and made a joke, and then told them, we want you to know that we're going to tell you in person that you've made the team. And it speaks to Zach's commitment to his game and how he's elevated as a leader this year. He's had to. He was not just a supporter anymore. I watch him on the ice at ice level, talking to the refs, demanding more from his teammates, which in all, like when you do that as a player, you really put it back on yourself. You're like, you can't just ask someone or demand someone to do something on the ice and then not do it. And I think he put himself in that spot, and I think that's helping him rise here. Also, under this system with Dean Evason, he's been let go. He's been freed up to be that rover, that player, that offensive player, and he loves it. You can tell he's loving the game. So it's the best we've seen Zach Werenski. He's a player that's evolved into that elite tier, and not just with the points who he's with there with Quinn Hughes and Roman Josi and players like that. It's how he drives the play every time he's on the ice. He is such an important piece to this offense and the defense that how could you not have him on there?
When I think about Zach Werenski, and I think about those early days of his career with John Tortorella when he was that rover and he was allowed to fly like he is now. And then remember, he came back the next year and Torts wanted him to concentrate a little bit more on the defense than on the offense. And that kind of threw him for a little bit of a loop for a while until he figured that out. And those guys kind of went through their own battles, but when it was all said and done, Zach was a much better player. And I think the last couple of years have been really frustrating for Zach Werenski. I don't think he's been, I don't want to say allowed to be himself, but I just think he's been kind of caught. Like in, what do I do? Am I playing defense here? We're giving up a ton of goals. Do I just play defense? Am I trying to score goals? What's happening? But this year, yeah, I think he's back to that. He's back to the guy he was early in his career with the knowledge that he has gained through all of that experience.
Yeah, every team needs structure. There needs to be parameters so that you understand what your line mates and teammates are doing, but you also need the freedom to read and react. Hockey is a game of read and react all over the ice, and he's elite at it. You know, he's not a guy that just, not only the natural ability to do it, but he does it. He studies the offensive zone. He's a player in the offseason that studies the percentage of shots from areas on the ice, and you know, he's. I love the way that he's transitioned, and it seems like he's freed up here, and it's so good to see him at his max potential, and not his max potential, but for this season, that is, you know, he's growing into that player that he should be at this level.
And you talked about him on the ice and being more vocal, and look, he's never been a loud guy. He's never been a rah-rah guy. He's a quiet guy. He's you know, if you want to follow me, just watch what I'm doing and do that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But how much do you think it has helped him? Look, not having Boone Jenner stinks.
Yeah.
I get it. Not having Eric Goodbranson stinks. But the fact that you lose those voices in that room and Zach gets forced into stepping in and doing some of that stuff, and since he's playing at the elite level that he is, how much do you think all of that's going to help him?
Oh, it's immense. You know, some players never... You look at skilled players, if you go back and think of some that would just excel at this game right now. The NHL has been different for a long time, since that 2004 lockout and beyond. It's a different game. You think of some of the skilled players that came over and didn't really get the opportunity to play in a role or a position where they probably should have and to reach their potential. And for Zach, that leadership role has been thrust upon him. And I think it's just a huge step for the organization to know and show, you know, you show how much you care, but then you not only demand it from your teammates, but then you show it on the ice. It's huge for leadership.
Yeah, I just like everything he's growing into. Speaking of Boone Jenner, he skated yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's
today.
fantastic.
So, yeah, how? And I was going to ask you about that. I know the timetable was March. And I just said this the other day. Look, this guy wants to play outside. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't want to wait and be cleared on February 28th. He wants to get back into the lineup as soon as he possibly can.
Yeah, and you think about Boone. He comes to camp. You know, he's the captain of the team. He's in great shape. And in between camp, the preseason and the regular season, he falls on the ice in practice, and you know he takes a major step back. So being on the ice and having a timetable to say, okay, let's work from March 1st backwards. So that's what you do when you're injured. You set goals. You know, if you take it easy during this amount of time, which is going to be hard, then we can take the next step and then the next step. And so that being on the ice is a big one for him.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. And I know it's still a long ways away, but I'm interested to see.
Not that long.
What his timeline actually is, right?
Yeah.
It will be it'll be interesting. Yegor Chinakhov, another guy that's been out with an injury now, and Dean Evason said before yesterday's game he's not skating yet, so he's not ready to play. That's been the one thing about this guy, as good as he is and as good as he can be, the injury bug has gotten him, it seems, every year.
And it seems like it's every year at the time when he just gets going.
Yeah, you're right.
You know? He's a player that has a threat as a shot. He's a powerful skater. There's a speed element he brings. But, yeah, it's unfortunate. And that's another piece that, and you forget about these guys that are out of the lineup. And when you're out of the lineup and you see the team winning, you want to get back even more. So there's an anxiousness to him getting back. But, yeah, that's definitely something for him. You hope he comes back and plays the remainder of the year and finishes the season well so he can have a good offseason. That's so important. Good offseason, good training camp, and come back in and put a career together.
Yeah, and as you said, he's a guy that, look, you can always use that guy.
Oh, yeah.
You always want a guy that has the speed that he has, good defensive awareness, too. We talk about his shot all the time and what he does offensively, but he does so many little things defensively, and you're talking about when you lose games like you did last night to the Flyers, you see all the warts, right?
Right.
So you want that guy not just for the great shot, not just for the goals, but what he does on the back check, too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I just think last night I would not put too much thought into that. I think that the guys were just a little bit off, and that's where they lost that game.
Yeah, well, and as you said earlier, too, they've got to be back on tomorrow with Washington coming in here. You've got a Washington team without Alex Ovechkin just rolling.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because we talked about this. I know we talked about it earlier in the season, and we talked about it last year, too. You watch the Washington team that you saw was just aging in front of your eyes. And you're like, well, these guys are going to age out. They're going to be out of the picture. And then somehow last year they make the playoffs. And the Nicholas Backstrom's gone. TJ Oshie is gone. I mean, there are guys that were big parts of what they did, helped them win a Stanley Cup, that are just out of the picture. But yet they've changed on the fly. They've retooled, and here they are. They're for real.
It's amazing. And it's incredible when they bring in Spencer Carberry as a head coach, Scotty Allen as the assistant coach, we know from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, where he coached the Chiefs with us. One of the great guys in hockey. And there is a sense when you watch them that their coaches are they're part of the team. And I think that knowing what they were last year and getting swept in the playoffs by the Rangers, they learned a lot about themselves quickly. And they added 8 pieces, but all speed, all pieces that fit into what they want, what they are. I keep saying that, but it's because you have to understand how you have to play as a team to have success. So very complementary pieces. McMichael's taken a much bigger role. They got rid of some pieces, but you got to like what they've added. And I think that's the importance of, those seasons of disappointment, but also nice surprise making the playoffs or surprise to everyone else. Okay, now this is what we are. This is what we're lacking, but we can add to it. And I think they did a really good job of that. Their goaltending is shored up a little bit, and the way they play with pace, and when you have a superstar that buys into that as well as Alexander Ovechkin, it's something that's infectious. They got Pierre-Luc Dubois out of L.A. Dubois hasn't found a home yet, but I get the sense that he understands there with Ovechkin, and who's the catalyst in the room as far as how things go and buying in, that he's now figured out that he is just a piece of that team, and that is another good pickup by them.
And I think that's the kind of guy that has to realize that. I think when he realizes that it's not all on me,
right?
I can just be a part of what goes on here. That's when he's a better player.
No, of course. I think we're all better with that. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be a part of anything in life, but once you realize that, you just have to take care of your job. But you also have to see where your job gets rewarded or where it's important. I think that's what they have going on.
All right. Well, coming up next, I had a chance to sit down and chat with Blue Jackets defenseman Ivan Provorov, a guy who looked like his thumb was almost torn off his hand in a game against Vancouver the other night, and he came right back and he played 2 days later. There's no doubt he's tough. That's already been proven, but I'm going to talk with him about that and much more as the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank continues on 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Billiards Plus has the area's best selection of pool tables, shuffleboard tables, poker tables, and more. Select tables are still in stock, so hurry before they run out. Find stocking stuffers galore with darts, cues, and more game room goodies. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
If you need a new furnace, don't settle for a quote north of $7,000. Call your local Sears Heating and Cooling team instead, because those prices are unnecessary. At Sears, we're not plumbers or electricians. We are your Central Ohio heating experts. We keep our overhead low and pass those savings on to you. Save thousands and enjoy a 10-year parts and labor warranty, all without sacrificing service or quality. So get a quote from Sears Heating and Cooling and understand why we are proudly celebrating 75 years as your partner in comfort. SearsHeatingCooling.com.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Common Man and T-Bone.
I missed a couple days and I missed the memo on it's leather day. I would have worn some leather.
Do you have leather?
Yeah, I got leather.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got leather.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now, your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is, you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with the TrueHold Sell and Stay Leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while its value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Get enough Blue Jackets conversation? Good news. It's Hockey O'Clock. It's the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott. Right now I'm joined by Blue Jackets defenseman Ivan Provorov. Ivan, one of the big highlights of the last road trip was one that wasn't so great for you. You get hit in Vancouver early in the second period. Your thumb looks like it doesn't even belong on your hand anymore, at least not in the proper way. You leave the game, you can't return. And at that point, you just start to think, not you, but, I start to think, well, this probably not going to see this guy on Sunday in Winnipeg. But lo and behold, when it came game day on Sunday, you were there. You were in the lineup. You played the whole game. You played the minutes that you play every night, which is a heck of a lot. And it didn't seem like it fazed you at all. But you personally, going through that whole experience from the time you got hit and the time you got hurt, I imagine it was very painful at the time. Do you have any idea when it happens? Like, man, is this just going to be today, or is this going to be a long-term thing? Or what went through your mind when it happened?
I mean, I definitely didn't expect to see what I saw when I took my glove off. Yeah, in the moment, I wasn't sure how long or what it was going to be. So yeah, then we went back. Obviously, did the things with the docs, and at the moment when the game was still going on, it was too hard to determine whether it was something long term or not. So it took a little bit of extra time to figure out what it was, and then by Sunday we figured out Sunday, the day between the games in Vancouver.
Saturday,
yeah, Saturday.
All those days just run together, don't they?
By Saturday we figured out that there wasn't, I wasn't going to make it any worse by playing, and obviously if I can manage the pain, I was going to play, and I think I've done a pretty good job managing pain throughout my career.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like, people talk about, boy, what a tough guy he is, that he goes out there and does it. When I look at your career, it's just you doing your job, right? I mean, if you can play, you're just going to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously part of hockey. I think hockey guys are probably the toughest guys in any professional sports. And, I think dealing with pain is part of the game. And, if it's something that's like, to a point where you can't play and you're going to hurt your team, that you probably shouldn't play. But if something you can manage, I think that's just part of the game, and I think we're all used to it by now.
Tell me what you're going through as a team right now, because, look, this year has definitely been better than last year. Last year, there were a lot of trials and tribulations and all that stuff. This year, even though it has been better, though, there are times where when you guys are on your game as a team, it's really fun to watch, and the Winnipeg game is a great example of that. When it gets away at points, that's where it seems like it can go bad in a hurry for you guys. So, what's the difference in that? I mean, last year you just knew that, it was hard to get anything positive. So that's one thing. This year, when you play it well, it's going to go well for you, but the consistency's not there.
I think overall, definitely things are a lot better this year, even with, the injuries that we had to start the season. I think the team's done a great job of, trying to play it the right way and playing for each other and sticking together. I think just, maturing as a team is still, part of our process, and knowing when and how to play, So obviously some nights as a team you're going to feel, better than others. And, so nights like last night, when you come off a long West Coast road trip, if as a team you're not having it, you just have to adjust and find a way to win, a boring 1-0 game. And I think we're still in the process of learning how to do that.
And that's hard to do at home sometimes too, because you always want to put on a show.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, you especially if the night before, as a team, you felt it and you made plays, and, some nights the team, you just don't have that. And like I said, you have to figure out a way to win other ways, and good teams can win different ways.
Talking with Ivan Provorov, defenseman for the Blue Jackets. We're talking about you being a team guy. At the beginning of the year, you were even playing on your offside. You're playing on the right side instead of on the left side. Didn't matter to you. That's what needed to be done. But now, as things went along, it's kind of really settled in defensively. And you've played a lot with Damon Severson. Is it nice to know that you've got a steady partner? You know his game, he knows your game, and you can just go out there and read off of each other and play hockey?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, it doesn't matter for me left to right. I mean, as long as you're out there, you're trying to do what you can, and to help the team win, whichever way that, the game unfolds. But obviously when you play with the same partner, for multiple games or, stretches of the season or actual, the whole season, obviously it helps. And I think chemistry is a big part of, overall a D pairing and, the whole decor, doing well. And a lot of times when the D pairing is, understands each other well, I think you don't even need the forwards out there. Sometimes you can break the puck out on with just, two of you and, break out the plays and by, knowing what your partner is going to be.
Zach Werenski draws a lot of attention around here, obviously, for the player that he is, the way he plays the game, but the minutes that he logs. And I mean, you're right there too. You're there logging the minutes. You're a different player than Zach is, but you jump up offensively on the play. You're not afraid to do that. How much do you just appreciate the fact that you're getting a chance to play so much in each and every game?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I've always played like that. I, entered the league and I've, played a lot of minutes right away. So I think that's just, I'm obviously as a player, you want to play as, as much as you can. I think I'm capable of doing that. I think I'm in great shape. I feel good. And then as a player that is capable of playing a lot of minutes, a lot of times, when you do play a lot and, you almost feel like you're a step ahead because you essentially almost like going every other shift when you play, between 24 and around 24, 25, almost every second shift. So, you almost feels like you're in the better rhythm and, kind of almost like a little bit ahead of the game. So obviously when you play a lot and, you feel good. So
I got to ask you this question because your contract status is you're an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, and you're also a human being. So you're playing hockey, you're doing your job, all those things we've just talked about. But, there's also the aspect of what's coming next. And, I'm sure you read things, you hear things the same as everybody else. Your name gets thrown out there already early in the year because of the way that you're playing and because of your status. How do you block that out and just do your job?
I mean, like, obviously you can't avoid everything. You're going to hear some things, but I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed my time so far here. I like the city. I think it's a great organization. I like the players and what we have here, and what we're building. But right now it's out of my hands. So I'm just trying to do my best and see what happens. Whether it is now in a contract year or when I was 14, just going out there every game, trying to compete, do my best, and first enjoy the game of hockey, and then afterwards, everything else. And so it's kind of the same mentality now.
Well, Ivan, thank you very much for talking to me. Again, it's been really, honestly, a pleasure to watch you play this year and watch how you guys are gelling as a group and how it's coming together. And you can see the potential that's there this year. So it's, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for taking the time. I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas as we get ready for the holidays. I hope you get all your shopping done, which is a challenge when you travel, right? But thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Ivan Provorov, Blue Jackets defenseman. Stay tuned. Jody Shelley will return and join me as we close out this week's edition of The Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Good morning, beat freaks. Who's ready to move? Let's start this day right.
Tasha's Morning Dance Parties are meeting rave reviews.
Lose your phones and find your groove.
They need an ops manager to help their community dance the morning away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Anthony. Not too many things you'll experience on a daily basis are worse than sore feet. I've been there, but I'm not going back there. I'm done with the over-the-counter insoles that shred on me or don't last or don't really do anything to actually realign and strengthen my feet. That's why I went to the Good Feet store. They make it personal. They asked me about my daily activities and the type of pain that brought me in, and they properly measured my feet and arch size. Once I was fitted, they placed my arch supports right into my own shoes so I could immediately feel the difference they make with every step. I started enjoying that comfort right away. I walked out wearing my new arch supports, and now I'm living and loving being on the go without pain. You've got to check out the Good Feet store. Bring in your favorite shoes. They'll personally fit you to ensure your comfort like they did for me. Try them. Take a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Worthington Steel has been proud to call Columbus home for 70 years. As a value-added steel processor, we enhance the products you use every day. Whether it's cars on the road, combines harvesting food, or transformers and generators providing electricity, Worthington Steel is there, and we are driving steel forward. Learn more about our innovative steel solutions at worthingtonsteel.com. That's worthingtonsteel.com.
As the official security partner of the Columbus Blue Jackets, the local team here at Vector Security is committed to protecting homes and businesses throughout Central Ohio. We live here. Our families eat, shop, and go to school and church in our communities. So we have a vested interest in keeping the homes and businesses of our neighbors safe and secure. Visit vectorsecurity.com/CBJ for a free security assessment that will address your unique needs. That's vectorsecurity.com/CBJ.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Welcome back as we get ready to wrap up the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. Jody, do you like racing?
I mean, like racing? Do I like racing you?
No, I mean like IndyCar racing.
Oh,
do you like
yeah,
that?
I love it.
Well, Helio Castroneves, Felix Rosenquist, and Marcus Armstrong are going to be at Nationwide Arena tomorrow night. And before the Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals, you can enjoy a private meet and greet and a question and answer panel if you purchase the Meyer Shank Racing Ticket Package. Get your spot by going to bluejackets.com/race. Let's talk about what's going on around the National Hockey League and the New York Rangers. What the heck is going on with the New York Rangers? They trade Jacob Trouba this past week. The Blue Jackets were in that to an extent. He obviously opted to go to Anaheim. We'll see him actually on Saturday night. He'll be here with the Ducks. They signed their goaltender, Igor Shesterkin. They've got him locked up for a long time for big bucks. But Chris Drury keeps on saying he wants to do more there with the New York Rangers. Where is that team right now?
Bring up Matt Rempe. I mean, come on.
Why is he still in the American Hockey League?
They have magic in a bottle. I mean, this guy brought that entire, not just the fan base, but everybody was on notice. Big hits, walking the line, energy, excitement. They need a spark. I just don't understand why Rempe's not in the lineup. I mean, you can criticize and say whatever. There's a dynamic in that locker room that's missing. Trade away their captain. I saw Trouba on Monday night when I did the Montreal Canadiens and the Anaheim Ducks in Montreal. His first game there. He is. I think he's rattled. Like he's in disbelief of how that whole thing went down. Part of a good group. It's of course they've been together a long time. That's an organization that wants to win a Stanley Cup. They don't want to be Eastern Conference Finals. They don't want to just cruise through a couple rounds. They want to take the next step. But part of that is understanding and having experience to get there and do it. So there's a lot of guys underachieving. There's a couple injuries. But I don't know. They're going through the whole roster. They lost a couple days ago to the Chicago Blackhawks, who's, when you're losing as a Rangers organization, it's one thing, but when you lose to the worst team in the league, everything gets heightened. And I think it started with the New Jersey Devils game they lost to badly. That's something that really hurts them. So it's an intense market. I think they need Rempe and they traded their captain away. And Trouba, yeah, he's making a lot of money, and now Drury has flexibility to add if he wants to. So they just need some kind of shakeup. And I think Rempe's a good call, and I think that maybe one of those core pieces besides Trouba needs to maybe move along. But I don't know. They're still a good team. They have a great goaltender. They've got some excellent players, but they're not playing as a unit.
Let me ask you this. What does it mean that the Blue Jackets were in on that conversation, that Don Waddell had talks and was very interested in getting Jacob Trouba?
I'm not surprised. I think that's just a progressive move. I think it's when you realize that Trouba's in an intense situation, in a spotlight, in a big market, and you could get him here as a physical, big. I think Don Waddell understands what wins in the playoffs. Physical, big defenseman.
That's what he had in Carolina.
Grit up front, hard to play against with size. That's what it tells me.
So, yeah, unfortunately it didn't happen. But, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm glad the Blue Jackets are in those conversations now. Not saying they've never been in any trade conversations, but that would have been a big deal. And I
think they're in everything.
Yeah. Well, and he's pretty much said that for months.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's when you come into a new situation as a general manager, think about it. You have no ties really to anybody in the organization. You see the perks and what's around and the good pieces, and he sees it differently. He sees it differently than being on the inside looking out. He's the outside looking in and comes in and says, all right. And Carolina's been one of those teams that's always been hard to play against. So you hear the word identity, and you see it developing here, but there will be changes. And those pieces I love that he doesn't hesitate to be involved.
Another change that was done, you mentioned the Chicago Blackhawks earlier.
Yeah.
Luke Richardson, former Blue Jacket, friend of yours, gets let go as the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. When we left there on Sunday, we got on the plane, we were going to Calgary, and I said to you, how much longer do you think this is going to last for Luke there? Because you could just feel it, right? It's just not, it wasn't progressing. And lo and behold, a couple days, another game later, it was over for him. You do feel for him, but I guess it was time for a change.
I guess. I mean, I love Luke. I think he does a great job. I just don't think that team has it. When you have a star, you have to have pieces around it. Not just veteran guys to help him with the culture. And Crosby went through it his first 3 years in Pittsburgh. Those young players were there first 2 years where they were surrounded by those type of people. That made him better. I thought Luke was a good guy for Bedard to learn from with Foligno and the other guys they brought in there. But it's unfortunate. That's the nature of the game. And, I wonder, since Bedard, it came right after Bedard was not on Team Canada for the Four Nations. So I wonder what the impact that was of, behind the scenes. I don't know anything, but it's just one of those things where you try to teach a young superstar the team concept. You're not winning. He doesn't get picked for a team. He's not having a great sophomore year. There's a lot of talk that he's not going to reach his potential. All those negative things are coming in, but unfortunately, Luke's the one to fall.
And it probably didn't help that St. Louis had made a move just a couple of weeks before, and Jim Montgomery comes in there, and it's kind of changed the fortunes. Not that the Chicago Blackhawks thought they were making the playoffs.
No, they're going to have another top 5 pick in the National Hockey League.
Right. But, sometimes you see, well, how come that worked over there, so maybe it's time for us to do that too.
Yeah, maybe. But it's all about the generational talent in Bedard, I think.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. And you mentioned Sid, when he came in, he played with Mario.
He played with Mario at the end of his career, lived with Mario, but he had guys like Billy Guerin, John LeClaire at the end of their career, character guys, Hal Gill, role players that, remember Sid used to always bark at the referee, and he got a reputation for that. That ended.
People in Philly think he still does. They'll never forget.
But that's fine. But those guys were the ones that pulled him aside and said, hey, this is how it is in the National Hockey League, and he appreciates that to this day.
Yeah, and I think with the Chicago Blackhawks, who's the, Nick Foligno fits that bill.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, he fits that bill. But after him, they have a lot of guys with NHL experience, but I don't know a lot that fit that bill that you're talking about.
Yeah, no, they've tried, and they had Corey Perry there. They had some other guys that have won, and that's an important piece to a career. You always look back and look at the guys early in your career and think, man, he taught me a lot by not saying much or just being around him.
Or taught me a lot by telling me to shut up and saying a lot of things.
That too.
All right, Blue Jackets are home tomorrow night. They take on the Washington Capitals. That's a 7 o'clock game. Anaheim is here on Saturday night, 7 o'clock, and then the Blue Jackets are back out on the road going to Carolina and Tampa. Jody, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, and we'll see you on, tomorrow. Thursday. I was going to say on Thursday. That's tomorrow. Get with the program. I still don't know what day it is from the road trip.
No, that's how it is in life in the NHL.
What's the time zone? What's the road trip? It's anyway, I'll figure it out just when it's time to go back on the road again. Thanks to Ivan Provorov for being with us here tonight on The Inside Edge. That is going to do it for the show. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long, and thank you for listening to The Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Toyotathon is on, and it's the perfect time to wrap up the year with a new RAV4, America's best-selling SUV. Now through January 6th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 24 or 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Or lease a gas-powered 25 RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. In this Christmas, don't spend time slaving over a hot stove, trying to produce a meal that's probably going to fall short of expectations. Enjoy that time with your family and let Bob Evans do the cooking for you. That way you can sit down and watch that holiday movie you love with your friends and family. Their farmhouse feast is going to have you covered, whether it's the pot roast, the ham, the turkey, all the sides, or that delicious pie. Enjoy it with your friends and family. Go to bobevans.com to pre-order your Christmas meal today.
You're kind of hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their Tidy Whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.